Hello, beautiful sacred souls. My name is Allison Batty Capps, and today we are going to explore the concept of the new earth, 3D versus 5D, and reality split. This is a trauma-informed perspective bridging physics, psychology, and spirituality. So I want to explore this idea of the new earth and this teaching that I have been seeing out there that humanity is somehow going to split into two separate realities. And I want to do this in a grounded, trauma-informed, non-shaming manner. We'll look at what physics actually says, how the brain constructs reality, and how spiritual language can be a powerful metaphor without becoming literalized in ways that create fear or hierarchy. So what does physics actually say? Let's start with modern physics. Whether we're talking about classical mechanics, relativity, or quantum field theory, there is no existing mechanism that allows two groups of humans to occupy the same physical Earth, yet be unable to interact with one another because of frequency differences. Frequency in physics refers to measurable oscillations, like electromagnetic waves or sound waves. Humans do have measurable electromagnetic activity, brain waves, heart rhythms, cellular electrical signaling, but these are not dimensional portals. They don't create separate overlapping universes where some people disappear from others. Even in speculative theories like multiverse models, there is no scientific evidence that consciousness levels determines which physical reality you occupy. So if we're speaking literally, physics does not support the idea of a 3D, 5D human split occurring on Earth. So why does the language of 3D and 5D splitting feel so real? Well, here's where psychology and neuroscience come in. The human brain is a pattern-making organ. Our dopamine system enhances meaning detection. Our temporal lobes are involved in mystical experiences. Our default mode network constructs our sense of self and narrative identity. When we undergo trauma, spiritual awakening, or major life transitions, pattern recognition intensifies, meaning-making amplifies. Experiences can feel cosmic or absolute. Neuroscience shows that when emotional intensity increases, the brain becomes more likely to interpret experience symbolically and globally. So when someone says, I'm moving from 3D to 5D, psychologically that can mean I feel less reactive. I feel less ego-driven. I feel more compassionate. I feel more interconnected. That's development. That's growth. But when metaphor becomes literalized, we will physically split into separate realities. That's when we move from symbolic meaning into rigid belief. So let's look at this through a trauma-informed lens, specifically the idea of hierarchical spiritual narratives. When the world feels chaotic or overwhelming, the nervous system seeks order, certainty, belonging, safety. Belief systems that divide the world into awakened versus asleep, high frequency versus low frequency, ascending versus stuck. This can soothe anxiety by creating clarity, but it can also unintentionally create in-group, out-group dynamics, reinforce superiority narratives, shame people who are still struggling, dismiss ongoing healing work. That's not because people are evil or bad. It's because the nervous system craves stability and meaning. So spiritual language can become a regulatory tool. What if 3D to 5D isn't about a literal separation, but about nervous system integration? 3D could symbolize survival mode, trauma reactivity, black and white thinking. 5D could symbolize prefrontal regulation, emotional integration, compassion, nuance, capacity for paradox. From a neuroscience perspective, that's not ascension, that's integration of the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. So here is the key difference. Integrated people still live in the same world. They still interact with everyone. They don't disappear from those that are less evolved humans. They simply respond differently. Growth does not require segregation. It requires regulation. If we speak spiritually for a moment, a loving, intelligent universe would not need to split humanity into separate physical realities. Developmental psychology shows growth is gradual. Neuroplasticity shows change happens through repetition and integration. Spiritual traditions across cultures emphasize compassion and return, not abandonment. Evolution is inclusive. It doesn't exile. From both science and spirituality, growth happens through continued relationship, not separation. So let's explore signs of healthy versus rigid spiritual thinking. Healthy spiritual integration looks like increased empathy, increased cognitive flexibility, less reactivity, ability to hold multiple perspectives, continued engagement with all of humanity. Rigid or destabilizing belief patterns often include us versus them thinking, grandiosity, certainty without curiosity, shaming language, disengagement from reality or responsibility. This is not about diagnosing anyone. It's about having discernment. True integration increases humility, not superiority. So you can believe in consciousness evolution. You can believe in awakening, and you can believe in expanded awareness and still be grounded in physics, neuroscience, and most importantly, compassion. If someone uses 3D and 5D as a metaphor, I think that's beautiful. If it becomes literal, hierarchical, or shaming, I think we should maybe pause and get curious about what's underneath that. I believe spiritual growth should make us more connected, more regulated, more compassionate, more human, not separate. If this resonates, I invite you to like, share, comment, subscribe for more trauma-informed teachings bridging spirituality, psychology, and neuroscience. And if you want to learn more, I invite you to read my book, The Divine Within, Healing Ourselves to Heal the World, or go to my website, blossomingheartwellness.com, to learn more about online courses and how to work with me. Healing doesn't require hierarchy. Awakening doesn't require division. And evolution doesn't require exile. Sending you all deep love and appreciation, no matter what your beliefs are.